rescue Treasury. Fed resists pressure to rescue Treasury market. Nathan Howard, Reuters. The Federal Reserve is resisting pressure from the White House and Washington to spur big banks to buy more Treasury bonds, a reluctance that could further shake an unnerved market for U.S. debt. Wild swings in Treasury prices forced President Donald Trump to reverse course on his sweeping tariffs, and investors remain spooked even after his backtrack. Higher yields on government bonds are a sign of stress and eroding faith in the American government to pay its bills. Still, the Fed isn't accelerating regulatory changes that would encourage banks to load up on government debt, people familiar with the matter said, even though Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon both support the idea. Tweaks to rules that currently penalize banks for holding big slugs of Treasury bonds are instead winding their way through a painstaking internal process that could take months, the People said. These rules effectively discourage banks from acting as intermediaries in the financial markets, and this would be particularly painful at precisely the wrong time, when markets get volatile, Dimon wrote in his annual letter published last week. Tweaking them could bring billions of dollars of buying firepower into a market full of sellers. Boston Fed President Susan Collins told the Financial Times last week that the central bank was absolutely prepared to intervene if necessary, remarks that some investors saw as proof the Fed was ready to step in. The Fed has been working on a proposal since February, but has no plans to rush out a final, or worse, bailing out the administration or hedge funds that have been heavy sellers. The current plan is to float the changes later this spring or summer through the normal regulatory process, the People said. There's no sign that the Treasury